Oh, yes.
Was that for reals, Mitch? Did you really have a coughing fit right beforehand?
Yes, because I gasped.
Well, hello, folks. It's been a while. It's Mitch, it's Mike, it's Mitch and Mike's voiceover journey. We're here with the one, the only Robb Smith, the voice of Robb. Robb, I just blanked on your podcast
Chewing
name.
the fat
Robb,
with Robb.
Chewing the fat, that's what it is. Chewing the fat with Robb. And all things voiceover. Thanks for joining us, Robb.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
This is going to be a bit more free form for you today, Robb. You mentioned that. Does that make you uneasy?
Not at all. Not at all. I worked in live radio and done live theater and improv, and so it's just go with the flow. Let's go with the flow.
Okay. Well, I guess I kind of already know that. I was on your podcast, which was a delight, by the way. It was not a disaster. You had questions that felt kind of lined up, but also flowed. I don't really know how you do that. We're a mess. But thank you
that's our
for
brand.
that.
That's our brand, is being a mess.
Everyone go watch that one exclusively and then watch all the other ones, so I'm starting to fall down the rabbit hole of great interviews. So watch.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. No, it was great. It was great. And I don't really have, other than the Fast Five at the end, and even those I don't know what they are. I just pull them at random. But I'm a very empathetic and also interested in others type person. So when I talk to people, I usually start them all, hey, where are you from? What was your, that's kind of the easy get into the things. And then from that, as people talk, it allows them to for me to be interested. It's like, ooh, what was that like? I had a friend who I did not realize it, and I'd known him for 5 or 6 years. He was a blue man. I never knew that until we started talking on the podcast.
Of the Blue Man Group?
Like Blue Man Group, yes. Like I knew he used to be one of the road managers for Aerosmith, but I didn't know he was a blue man.
Because you never saw, like, under his fingernails.
Yeah,
right.
He wasn't like the character on
what was that movie?
No, the TV show, Ron Howard's thing.
Boy.
Why?
Talking about Grover?
I'm so out of practice. I can't remember
Are you
things.
talking about Cookie Monster? I'm just naming blue stuff. You're talking about Bear in the Big Blue House?
No.
Blue's Clues.
It
Okay,
had,
he's gonna think
Jason
of it.
Bateman in it, and
in like not Ozarks.
no, early on.
Oh my gosh!
This is going off the rails real quick, and it's all my fault. No, I'm gonna look it up when we pause, and I'm gonna come back.
That.
So when we do ChatGPT at the end,
we're gonna have.
I'll come back and be like, all right, it was this show.
The whole thing will be about that.
It'll be about that show. But yeah, there was a character in it that was like an alternate for Blue Man Group, and he just walked around with just painted in blue, or he thought he was an alternate. Anyway.
Arrested Development.
Robb,
Is that it? Arrested Development? Is that what it was?
Yeah. Robb, where are you from?
where are you from, Mom?
He's not from Atlanta, which is where we met Robb.
Yes, in Atlanta. But I'm 2.5 hours down I-20 in Augusta, Georgia. There's a small golf tournament that goes on here once a year, and it's fairly famous. It's called the Masters.
One like no other.
It's usually what people know the area from. So, but
Some
born
of
and
us.
raised here. Yeah.
Yeah?
Really?
Yeah. I moved around some. I started my career in radio at 15 years old, and so now well into my 50s, I moved around some doing that, but stayed mostly in the Southeast. But Augusta is home, and I came back this way to work as a marketing director, which was great because it got me back closer to my mom. So,
and radio was first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Radio was first. 15 years old. I was sitting in an English class in high school, and it was my homeroom, was also my English class, and they had an announcement come over the air. It's like, hey, if there's anybody interested in interning at this radio station, go see so-and-so and blah, 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 and get the information. And apparently I was like the only one that was interested out of the whole. And this
One
was
of
not like
one,
a
all right.
small high school or whatever. I mean, we had several hundred, thousand, not 100,000, but hundreds. Several hundred to 1,000 folks.
That's a big high school, man.
Yeah, that was a huge high school of America. But yeah, I was just hooked. It was the entertainment aspect of it is really what I got hooked in, because I've always been the fat kid. I am currently the fat man. It is, it is something that allowed me to not be something that people see. Because you're behind the mic. People don't know what you look like. They just
Face
know what
for
you sound
radio.
like. Yeah. So, yeah, body for radio. And so,
Anyone
yeah.
not watching, that's not a face for radio. Okay? Just to tell you, nice head of hair, clean beard. Are you kidding me? This guy knows what's going on.
You're a good-looking cat, Rob.
Well,
Don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
oh, well, as long as my wife doesn't throw me out of the house.
That's what I say.
For over 30
If wife
years.
still think
so.
I'm sexy, then what else matters?
Exactly. So, but yeah, so that's how it started. I just, I love the aspect of play and being able to entertain people and be on the radio. And that's how it started. And that was a promise I made to myself. It's like, I'm not going to have a job that I don't enjoy. Something. Now, it might be, but if I have to have something because I'm a little ADD and so I get bored quick. So doing that type of stuff and being able to think on my feet and think of imaging and promos and stuff like that was great. And so I did it for a long, long while. Finished high school, and my first job out of high school was at a radio station. 2.5 hours. It was the first paying job. It was 2.5 hours away from here, not in Atlanta. It was in Greenville, South Carolina. Okay. It was just back roads, no like expressways or anything. It was just back roads.
I've hung out there.
And it was working Saturday mornings at a radio station from 6 a.m. to noon. And I made just enough money to pay for my gas to get there and get home.
Okay.
But I did it because I loved it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang, that's a ride.
Yeah.
You mentioned you mentioned empathy, and we know it just by talking to you. And I have to say, a lot of radio guys that we've talked to or I've known give me more of a go-getter used car salesman vibe, where it's like there's a lot
Any
of
of you are listening, sorry on Mitch's behalf.
not in a mean way, in a in a boisterous sort of like out like I don't know how else to. There's a used car salesmen are fine. I like all of them, but they're a different type of cat. You're calm. You're a little. I don't know. You're not trying to sell me something. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, I appreciate that. I think that, again, from my point of view in what I dealt with in life, being bullied as the fat kid, that allowed me to have a certain level of empathy of what other people might be going through. I was the child of a single mother. Well, she was divorced. My dad left when I was like 7 years old or whatever. So mom was mom and father. She was an OR nurse. She took extra calls. She did everything she could to make sure we were taken care of. So there was a lot of self-reliance and a lot of alone time, and because I didn't have a lot of friends, because again, I was the outcast. I was the nerd. I was very, very smart, very fat, you know what I mean? And I had to learn how to use comedy as a self-defense mechanism, because it's hard for people to beat you up when you're making them laugh and making their friends laugh, And so I think that may have given me a different perspective. Now, I'm not going to say, being on the air, I was able to create a different persona. I was able to have that type of bigger alter ego that may have said things to people on the air that I would not have said face-to-face with someone.
Which is fun. It's like
and that's
playing
what I
a
was
character.
going to ask.
Exactly.
Is did you become another person on the radio? Because you have a very smooth jazz type of vibe,
For sure.
Where I could picture you on that, that 8 to midnight slot, and this is going out to Veronica.
Welcome to the
from
quiet
Jeff.
storm.
Sade singing Smooth Operator. You know, but so, I mean, what kind of DJing did you do? I mean, and other things in radio. I'm sure you had multiple hats.
Yeah. So the first station I worked at was it would be called a classic rock station now, but it was classic hits at the time, just because that was in the 80s, end of the 80s, early 90s.
You know what classic rock would be today?
Yeah,
Green Day.
Please, don't tell me
Yeah.
that. Don't tell me that. It's gonna make more gray hair up here.
I know.
I'm gonna throw my back out just talking to you guys. Yeah, so I was my first and a lot of times in radio, you come up with these alter egos and different names and stuff like that. My name is Robb Smith. That is my name. That is the plainest freaking name that you can have. It is no
You got
excitement.
two B's though.
Yeah,
so,
that's why you
know.
added a B.
Yeah.
Well, the B came later. I'll tell you about that.
Okay.
The extra B came later, but it was just
right.
it was just Robb Smith. And so my first radio name, because I was interning. I didn't have a shift. I was there during the middays to help pull albums, vinyl, as you kids call it today, and queuing them up for the midday jock and things like that. We were on the 13th floor of the building here in Augusta, which the tallest building was only like 16 floors. So 13th floor building, and I would often sit in the window over the street. So I was Robb Overstreet was my first radio name.
All right.
Because it was a great view, and it was just fun hanging out, and listening to music and goofing around with people. But when I went into my first paid gig, I became Big Robb, as I'm a big guy. But also there were other Robbs there, and they didn't want to confuse them, so it was so we had
to
like
differentiate somehow.
Yeah, so we had a Big Robb. So I'm Big Robb, and I've carried that for a while. And then when I worked in an AC or easy listening station, I was Robb Thomas. Long before
Long before
the actual
Matchbox 20?
Matchbox 20 guy,
Okay.
which was so.
Because he was
yeah,
born
most-
in like 1999 or something.
No.
So I was mostly Big Robb, and I've worked in classic rock. I've worked in urban. I've worked in AC. I've worked in top 40. Worked in country. Worked in one of the best morning shows around in country in Birmingham. I was there as a producer and worked with Patty and Dollar Bill. They were a legacy morning show there in Birmingham. And learned so much from them on, again, empathy and how to treat listeners and people who bring you into their lives that you don't know who they are. That was one of the things about radio. It's like people build bonds with you in radio that you have no clue about.
Yeah, because you commute with them every day.
Exactly. And you're there through their breakups, and you're playing songs when their hearts are breaking. You're playing songs when they're celebrating the birth of a child or a graduation or whatever, So yeah, there's a lot that you have to do if you want to do it in a human type way. Yes, you can be very car salesman and very big ego and, don't bother me, kid. I'm trying to work here type thing. But that's just not the type of person I was to begin with. And it's not the type of talent that I wanted to be on the radio either. So,
You know who I'm still building bonds with? Casey Kasem. Still on the air, that guy. Still
He's been dead
sounds
for a while, man.
really alive. Yes, I know. He's still playing top 40s.
Are they replaying top 40s? Are they AIing his voice? I mean,
I don't
how
know
is
what the
how is
heck's
he still on the
going
radio,
on.
dude?
I would hate to think that they probably are AI, but you can find old, especially on like YouTube and things like
Yeah,
that. You can find
yeah.
old air checks, and you can find
I'm Casey Kasem.
Casey Kasem, who was also the voice of Shaggy,
Yeah,
the original
he's
Scooby-Doo
so
cartoons.
good at it too.
As far as I know, he didn't. I mean, that was like the one voiceover thing he was known for. Did he do any other voiceover? I don't even know.
I'm imagining something.
I would imagine he
not,
did, but
not at that level of
Yeah.
a show that's been going on forever. While you were building this business of going like so many different genres of radio and possibly having different names or different suits or hats or capes you wore when you were doing these things, did you try to keep like a through line of this is me and this is how I'm going to interact with the public? Or was it more like, I throw these glasses on and I'm going to start talking shit to my listeners? Or, I throw these shoes on and I'm kicking back, easy listening rap.
Yeah. No, I tried to be the same person because as as smart as I may be, I'm also fairly dumb when it comes to if that's also why my name was Robb. Because if I was like, oh, it's John Midnight, and somebody's like, hey John, and they would think I was an asshole because I didn't turn around because I just didn't think about being called John. So that was to help myself to know who people might be talking to when they ask for Robb or Big Robb. So
that is so smart.
Yeah, Mudge. Don't do that.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, but I try to be the same person. Now, again, depending on, if I was on the air and it's a top 40 station and it's, something that's like really, it's the Friday night, we're playing some, club music or something like that. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be higher energy, but who I am is still who I am.
All right, so let's do this. Let's do a little bit. Yeah, play a little game.
Wow.
All right, since you've worn a lot of hats, you've done a lot of genres, you've done a lot of things. I want to hear the different Robbs. So I want to hear Big Robb introduce Leonard Skinner's song on the classic rock station.
Let's see. I mean, and truthfully, for classic rock, that'd be very, very much kind of how I am. It's like Eagle 102. Thanks for tuning in on a Friday night. You've all asked for it. It's Freebird on a freedom weekend here on Eagle 102.
Damn, dude.
Sweet.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
So that's less of the in your face guy.
Yeah.
And so like I
yeah,
can see
I'm
you
kicking back. I'm having a beer. Got some ribs on smoking or something like that, and we're just chilling, listening to some music.
So it was basically just a version of that, no matter what you were. So like country western station.
Oh yeah,
Toby Keith.
Country very much. And the thing is, again, I'm from the South. I'm born and raised here. I get people that say that I don't have an accent, and then other times they're like, you slip into an accent, and I do, depending on who I'm talking to. And I just think that is an empathetic thing that allows other people to feel more comfortable when they're talking to you. So in country, it'd be something like 102.5 The Bull. It's Friday night. We're kicking back with Kenny Chesney in that old blue chair right here on the Bull.
It's like, it's so weird to, we sort of played, at least some of the other radio people we had on kind of slip into it too, just to show us what's going on. But it's funny. It's that cadence. It's that exact, and it's that thing that you have to break away from when eventually
you do voiceover.
Yeah, eventually, unless you're doing like promo or something. But
well, and that's the thing too, is like doing voiceover, especially for commercial work. I've cut hundreds of commercials working in radio, but I call them all rip and read because they were part of my job. They did not care about any performance. The salesperson brought it in at 4:59 on a Friday on their way to their second beach house, and it had to be on the air at 8 o'clock that night. And so they're like, and I'm like, I would like to leave at 5 o'clock as well. They're like, well, this has to get on the air. And so it was just, here it is. Throw a music bed on it, put it on the air.
yeah,
And that was it. As opposed to now where it's like, okay, what's the intention of the copy?
Who are you talking to?
Who am I talking to? Where am I at? What's my relationship with this?
What's my motivation?
Am I a spokesperson for this product? Am I a user of this product? Am I someone instructing someone about this product? Yeah. So it's totally different.
it makes it feel. It really makes it sound so much more silly when we talk about it from just do it to like, how are you feeling today? Really?
Sometimes ad nauseum. I mean, so talk about that journey then. So you went from grip it and rip it to putting all of this work into figuring out how you should read the content based on who you are, who you're talking to, what the situation is, and all of that. did that as you made that transition? Was that daunting? Was that was it tedious? Was it did it take a while to figure out because you did come from that grip it and rip it mindset?
Yeah, I'm still working on it because there are times that I feel myself slipping back into that. But there was a lot of time in between that. Working in radio, I also worked in television at the same time. Worked for some television stations in production, actually shooting commercials, writing commercials. So storytelling became part of my internal vernacular, even though it wasn't necessarily something that I presented, on the radio or anything like that. But it was, all right, how do I tell this story? So I had some ideas going into it. And then when we moved back from Birmingham, which had been around 2007 or so, I think I was in Birmingham for like 4 or 5 years. And one of the promises I made to myself was to get back into theater. I was in drama in high school and things like that. That did nothing but make me more of a nerd and more of a target, but I loved it. I loved the storytelling. I loved to be, again, putting on a character, being someone else. So coming back here and getting into theater, getting into musical theater, getting into plays, allowed me insight into how to tell stories. And so that definitely shallowed the learning curve going from radio into VO. But there are still times when they say, just be yourself, we just want to hear, that's what sets you apart, is being yourself. It's like the self that I've learned to be is the rip and read guy, and you absolutely do not want that.
Right.
So how do I be Robb, but not be the rip and read guy? Now, it does come in handy when you got to know that they've squeezed 45 seconds of copy into a 30-second spot, and how to either speed up to make it fit, or to edit and be able to say, hey, your copy's a little bloated here. What don't you need in this particular story that you're telling? But yeah, it was time on stage, writing, producing commercials, and even launching my podcast. Because I did that in 2021. We were still, for the most part, the world was still locked down a good bit. It's something that came to mind in 2020 because there was, depression, anxiety, things that I was dealing with. I lost friends from COVID, and I was like, there's got to be other people that are going through this too. How can we connect now that we're so separated and that we're all siloed? And so that was a way to do that, is not just telling my story, but helping other people, everyday people, not just celebrities, not just, telling, because everybody has a story to tell. And I think those stories are important. So helping them, guide them through telling their story allowed me to be better at my own storytelling and analyzing copy, analyzing scripts, to be able to break that down, to find the funny, to find the turns, to find those important things. So that's kind of how my journey came to where I am right now. And then I went full-time into VO in January of 2024.
Oh, wow.
Hey, Mitch, why have we not done that with this podcast? Why have we not used this to help us be better at what we do?
I think we're too busy fooling around, Michael.
I know. Yeah. I feel like we're missing out, though. We need to, use our experience.
I do think it's helped me. I don't know if anyone's listened to the earlier episodes, but I feel like I barely move my mouth when I talk, and I'm like kind of. and now I feel like I have the confidence to talk to. I've only talked to you, Robb, a few times, though I feel like I've gotten to know you pretty well. It's still like I'm learning a lot, and I think that's one thing I learned, Mike. You're already good at talking to strangers and being boisterous. This is going to be public. This is tough,
Ooh.
So I might stop moving my mouth a little bit. But
well, I stopped saying so much. So
oh yeah, he did.
I toned that vocal tick down way. I used to listen to early episodes, and it was crazy how often I, talked and said, and then, and
that's one of the things I learned in my podcast. And when you're editing it, you're the one that's doing the work, and you're listening, and you're like, holy crap.
Yeah, man, I make myself
say this a
uncomfortable.
lot. It's a crutch.
Yeah.
How do I get myself off of that crutch? And I still will, some, especially I'm talking to you guys, and we're just...
Right.
Because that's just how people talk.
And that's the thing,
One of the things I learned early on, I used to try to edit all of that stuff out and all the breaths and all the ums. And like, people don't talk like that. It sounds so weird on those earlier episodes that I tried to clean it up too much. Oh, yeah. So now I don't really do that. If there's a long pause, I may trim it up some, but I'm still going to leave some pause in there because we have to be comfortable in the silence too when you're doing a format like this.
Yeah.
People are listening. They want to hear what you have to say. They want to hear the story. And being part of the conversation is being part of the silence too. Being part of the natural cadence of speaking, the natural way that people talk, the ums, the ahs, that type of stuff, especially if they're not professional talkers.
Yeah, so we're real people.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's kind of what makes us, and that's one of those things, people pushing back on AI as well, especially in voice acting. It's people are doing auditions and leaving some of those in now because it makes them sound more human, which I find very intriguing and very interesting. But yeah, I mean, we are definitely not editing any of that out. We're not roll.
Yeah, especially all of my random breaks.
Yeah.
In my sentences. But, Rob, I do want to know, and we may have never asked anyone this question who's had a podcast, that leap of hitting, send on the podcast, actually posting it, actually deciding that this is a venture you're going to take. How hard was that? How'd you get over that hump? And what would you say to someone who has a podcast idea and is just too afraid to start?
So it took me a year to hit record on my trailer, on my episode 0, on the This Is What I Plan on Doing. It took me a year because I came from radio, and so I had this imagined perfection in my head. It's like, no, this is Big Robb. This is Big Robb's podcast. This has got to be a perfect thing. And so I was...
Who's that guy?
Yeah. So I had this analysis paralysis where I kept saying that it has to have the right logo. It has to have the right format. And those are things that I have put in place. And they were things that I worked on. But they were also blockers for me to hitting the fucking red button. And that's why I called my episode 0 the Big Red Button, because I finally hit it. And it took a friend of mine, Travis Brown, who said, you've got something that people need to hear. You've got a heart for these people. They will never hear it if you do not hit record. And so he challenged me. We talked on a Friday. He said, I want by Sunday, you hit record. I don't care what you record. Record something about what you want to do. And in that, say that the first episode will be out in a week. And that's what I did, because I'm the type of person who I have a hard time holding myself accountable. But if somebody else asks me to do something, I am very cognizant of making sure that I stay accountable to that person, because I don't want to waste their time. I don't want to waste their brain power or whatever that they've invested in me. So I want to make sure that I not necessarily make them proud, but feel like that it wasn't for naught, because I don't want myself to also look bad in their eyes, because then they're not going to trust me the next time that they might need something or whatever. So I definitely hold myself more accountable to other people than I do to myself. So, but that's what it took. So if you have that idea, don't worry about having the best interface and microphone and headphones and cover art and things like that. If you need help with that stuff and you want to figure that out, I'll be glad to help you out. Just ask. But
there you go,
like,
people.
Yeah, I know people. I do, you know what I mean? I can, if you need a sounding board, great. But hit record, put your thoughts down, and put it out there, because your biggest fan has not heard you yet. My biggest fan has still not heard me yet. Your biggest fan has
like
still
that.
not heard your podcast yet, guys. So you have to keep putting it out.
Derek isn't our biggest fan?
No.
But that's one of those things that I had to learn. It's like, because you'll start and don't chase the metrics. Don't die looking at all of the, where are the people
Yeah.
listening and how many downloads and things like that.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, every episode is like a little soldier, and it's out. Once it's out there, it's out in the world. And the people who need to hear it will find it when they need to hear it.
Yeah.
They may not need to hear it the first week you put it out. They may not need to hear it the first year you put it out. I am in year 5 on season 6 of my podcast.
Nice.
I have over 100 episodes of conversations with completely different people from all over, all walks of life, all over the world. And everybody's story is different, but everybody's story is important. So put it out. Whatever if you're just doing a quick, I'm going to tell knock jokes podcast, do it, because you're going to bring a laugh to somebody. Somebody's going to find that and find that
New
fun.
podcast idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm writing that down right now. Not joke podcast.
But yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So the hurdle for me to get from ideation to first episode out was over a year, all because I kept putting hurdles in my way, thinking that it needed to be perfect before I started. Progress over perfection.
Well, it's funny because as you're telling this, I'm juxtapositioning our podcast and what we did and what we went through, before we went on air and everything. And it's interesting because, we did have that time that we were trying to figure out what this was going to look like. But it was maybe 3 months before we started recording. And a lot of that was just like, just life getting in the way and not having time to talk about it together. Mm-hmm. But it's true what you say about, if we had paid attention to the metrics early on, we'd have quit this a long time ago.
Yeah.
We were thrilled sometimes. Hey, we get double digits this week. Woohoo.
Yeah.
And same thing. Like I have seen, sometimes you will look at those metrics and you look back and go, wow, people downloaded that episode from a year and a half ago. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Who did that? Somebody saw a recent one and went back in the catalog. So,
yep.
So a lot of parallels there with you and us. So,
but we did have someone keeping the other person like, oh, are you going to do this? Because I'm going to do this. Like, it kind of
did help us.
Yeah.
You had someone in the shadows helping you, kick you in the butt, finally.
Yeah, finally. But again, it was still a year because it was just me. It was me trying to hold myself accountable. And I thought what I was doing was right because it's like, oh, let me work. And I got my graphic designer friend to make a logo, and I was like researched, hosting platforms and what's going to be the best. And of course, there's money involved in it too.
Yeah.
These things are not free. You pay for your host and you pay for this, that, and the other. And it's like, what makes sense financially for me to be able to do this? And so I had to do that. Luckily, I had a lot of the equipment already because I worked in radio and I'm a nerd, and I buy microphones and have interfaces and things like that. So the equipment probably was the last, thing I was ever really worried about. But it was all the other things, and then working out my format because I knew how I wanted it to flow. And the heart of it is mental health and positivity. I try to be very positive with everything, but there are dark mental health stories that sometimes people need to tell and other people need to hear, because that's what gives them hope to keep going as well. And that is what is at the heart of Chewing the Fat. It's how do you keep the darkness at bay, and how do you move forward? And that all came from the quote from Lord of the Rings when Galadriel's asking Gandalf, why the Hobbit? And his answer is like, I believe it is the small, everyday actions of regular people that keep the darkness at bay, small acts of kindness and love. Mm. And that's what the whole podcast was based on. I heard that, and it did something to me that I needed to help keep the darkness at bay, do my small acts of kindness and love. And that's what birthed the idea for Chewing the Fat.
So,
Wow.
what? Walk us through. You've got 6 years, 100 episodes. What types of guests have you had? I mean, we talked about Mitch being on the show. Who have you? And I'm not talking about dropping names unless there is a name you want to drop. But who have you interviewed on the show? What are some of the topics you have tackled?
So, there. You can kind of see what my career looks like based on who the guests were. So I have a lot of my friends from radio that have been guests on that maybe still work in radio or don't. I have one guest, Bill West. He's written a couple of barbecue cookbooks. He's down in the Charleston area and just a great guy, great music, a country music aficionado, but a great cook, and somebody like that who also has issues that they deal with. The past few years, I've had lots of voice actors on because that's where I am in my life. That's my circle now. I still have, I have friends that are on Broadway that have been on the show, just that I met through theater, through connections. I have had people on the show recently, Sergio Chili. He is a director. He just directed a commercial for, what's the water? There's a water commercial with Jennifer Aniston in it. He's a director, and he directed that commercial.
Water.
Smart Water, that's it. Yeah, and
I buy that in airports.
yeah, and he. But the reason I had him on is I found him on Instagram. And we became friends on Instagram because he does this thing, will AI replace us as actors? So he writes prompts and puts the prompts up, and he directs the AI prompts. And they're hilarious because
So
they
funny.
suck.
He's like, yeah, I don't know why you brought a gun, but
Yeah,
maybe,
that was his first.
lose the gun.
That was his very first prompt that he thought he would try that whole thing, and there was nothing in his prompt said anything, and the AI pulled a gun on him, like and he's like, "Did you just pull a gun? What do you?" And so he's talking to
Yeah.
it like it's an actor, like an actor that's auditioning, and so Sergio's on this season, and I've had Joe Cipriano on, who's he was the voice of Fox since it started. He was also a trailer voice. His first trailer gig was Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Wow,
He worked in radio. He, you know what I mean? He's Joseph, and he's one of the nicest freaking people. And I've sat with him, and I've done his promo master class, and I've helped him with tech at VO Atlanta and stuff like that. And he's just become a great friend. But it's, those are people. Prior to that, I had people I worked in retail with. A friend of mine, Caleb Riviera Bloodworth. He is now in Rochester. He is an artist now. He was a guy that worked in retail. I worked at Apple for 10 years, and we met working at Apple. And he moved to Rochester to go work at that store, and he ended up leaving there and found his passion as an artist, as an actual painter type artist. And it's amazing to see him blossom into the person that he is now. And he was like my second episode. We talked about in his episode is the first and only episode I ever had to put a trigger warning on, because he did talk about self-harm and a suicide attempt. And I felt it was responsible to make sure that if people listened to it, that they realized that we were going to be talking about that, frankly. And, everybody has gone through stuff. And so the person that is helping you buy an iPhone to the person who's had a 40-plus year career doing promos and lives, bi-coastally in Palm Beach and West Palm. It's like everybody has a story to tell, and they've had those down days. And that's what Chewing the Fat is about, is being able to recognize yourself in somebody else's story, to realize that you're not alone.
Dang. I mean,
important stuff.
Yeah, we should probably stop this podcast. What is this even about?
What are we doing?
No.
What is
No,
this
not at all.
life even about?
No. See, you guys are doing something completely different, and that's important stuff. That's what I'm saying. There is value in everything. It's like my podcast is not more important than yours.
Yeah,
you
but
know what I mean?
who's got to the top of some? Where did you made it somewhere? I mean, you told me that there was.
It's a globally top 5% podcast. Okay,
That's amazing.
That
out
is
of all
amazing.
podcasts. Do you realize that means I'm like in the top 1.8 million podcasts out of the whatever 30 million podcasts that are out there, but I'm in the top 1.8 million.
That's
But still
amazing.
Still
it's
something.
top 5%.
Congrats.
Well,
is
thank
what
you.
I wanted to say about
Yeah.
that. That's freaking cool. And I couldn't
appreciate
imagine
that.
getting that news. I feel like I'd have to call Mike, which I hardly ever do, and you might still
I mean,
be.
we have, emailed each other when we get some kind of notification of some, milestone.
Yeah.
Or, oh, wow, that episode got 225 views. What the heck?
That's great. And but that's the thing that's great. That means that what you're doing has value. And if it still excites you that people are finding it and being excited about it, that's important stuff. What excites me more than being in the top 5% is when I get an email with a review that somebody actually wrote a review on like Apple Podcasts or somebody gave me a 5-star rating or something like that. And I get that little email. It's like, and it's very heartfelt. It's like, wow, just found this podcast, just tuned in to listen to, this guest, and I didn't even know about this, blah, blah, blah. I've added it to my playlist for podcasts or whatever. That's so cool. Those are the cool things. That means, again, all right, that's now my accountability to keep going. But I will say, it's like, I've set up my podcast that I've took the heat off of me. I tried to do every week. When I first started, I was like, I need to do week after week after week.
Who would do that?
And it got
I did. So insane.
Well, and it got exhausting. And then my mother's health started to go downhill, and so I was like, I felt guilty for stepping away from the podcast to take care of her, and then I would feel guilty for stepping away from her to take care of the podcast. So I gave myself grace that the people are there. If my thought is that these are all soldiers and people will find the episode when they need to find it, my biggest fan hasn't listened yet, I need to trust that. I need to trust my own line of BS, if that's what I'm telling myself. And so I'm going to give myself grace, and when an episode comes out. Last year my mother passed away. I only did 8 episodes that entire year because I was dealing with a lot. Because it was just me. I was her caretaker. My brother passed away 20 years ago. That was it. And so the lucky thing was that I was not working in retail anymore. I was doing voiceover full time, which meant that I could be wherever I needed to be for her. I could still do my auditions in the middle of the night if I need to or whatever. I could still be available to clients when I needed to, but I could also be available to her. And there were several times I would sit in the hospital with her with my laptop open and have a microphone and a blanket over my head, and
Oh my gosh.
like I need to do a quick audition.
Dang, dude, that's devoted.
Geez.
But that's the thing. But I was able to be there for her.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to give myself grace in that people will find it when they need to find it. And the same thing for you guys. You know what I mean? People, your podcast is amazing. It's very encouraging because you're telling a different story. You're telling other people's story. You're helping them tell their stories. And it's also affecting you. It's how you grow every freaking episode as well. It's your journey. You've just asked me to be here inside of your journey, as part of your journey.
You're doing a lot of. See, here's the problem with that. And we need you to spectate on our podcast, Rob. And you're doing like all this intricate stuff about your life. Can you just for maybe the next 15 or so minutes, let me and Mike be on the journey?
'Cause
we
it's
may not
about
even
us.
talk.
Okay.
Like
So
our
we're gonna
life.
We're going to sit in sour
I will say
silence.
this though, as by the way, in case y'all didn't figure out, Mitch was doing one of his jokey things.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, sometimes I have to explain that to our listeners.
My wife does the same
You gotta
thing.
you just say, "Am I
believe this,
right?"
you guys.
at the end of it, and everybody knows it's a joke.
Nope.
I'm just kidding.
I learned from my dad to just leave it dry. And
Yeah.
All right.
But I mean, some of the things you said there, I mean, I was nodding my head because, yeah, I mean, you are very correct. I mean, we started this show not having guests. It was just us, just talking like, all right, well, let's get together and see what we can do. And then slowly but surely, we kind of just, it would be cool to have this person on. And we started having guests. And then before you know it, that's all we did. We have guests. But it is still our journey. And so, you know, that's kind of the cool part about this is we can bring someone on. It's kind of like a season of television, right? You've got your guest, like let's just say, you know, Love Boat.
You're Paul Rudd.
See, Mitch, Love Boat is a show that existed in the 70s and 80s.
Sounds old.
But you know, you had the guest on, right? And the guest had a short arc in the show. But then the rest of the crew, the rest of everybody had like a season-long thing. You know, and so that's Mitch and I. Is people are seeing us grow, seeing us, you know, do our thing and be, you know, evolve or whatever. But we get those short little capsulized things with our guests that are more interesting than Mitch and I could ever be. Yeah. So
the most interesting part is the guest, you know, the Kramer comes in. Or, I don't know. He wasn't a guest star. Who would come in? I don't know. Seinfeld. People from Seinfeld.
I don't feel so bad about my
Seinfeld,
Blue Man Group, you know, comment earlier where I couldn't think of the name of the show. Arrested Development. There it is. I got it now. I didn't have to look it up.
I was given direction recently. Yeah, the characters, you know, be more like Frasier. I'm like, that's a deep dig to find my Frasier.
Your inner Kelsey
funny.
Grammer.
Yeah, exactly. I figured
We
it
all
out.
have one. Somewhere deep down inside of us.
But no, really, I'm done with my journey already. God, that was a boring segue. Anyway, Rob, I really want to know, because your podcasting journey, it honestly sounds like maybe, potentially, the biggest and most interesting body of work that you will potentially, again, continue to do for a very long time, that people love, and it's going to be out there seemingly forever and bringing joy to people. Is there something within that you want to grow, or you like, are you pushing it in any way, or is it just, are you following it now?
Yeah, I'm not pushing it in any way. The format now is the format that I originally had. It's 3 segments. Get to know my guest, talk about mental health, play a silly game at the end. And I try to keep it at about an hour. I still believe that there are stories that need to be told and people that are worthy of telling their stories. Not that I'm like, oh, if I don't have you on, your story's not worth telling. No, it's just the way it is. I mean, there's only so much time in the day. There's only so many days. You know, there's how many ever billion people. All of those stories are valid. It's just, I still have a passion for it. This year, like I usually wrap up a season, and I do mine in seasons because I want to give myself a break. I usually wrap up, you know, in December sometime, and then I'll usually take like January, February off. Start back up in March or so. And this year, post my mom passing, I didn't know if I was actually going to do another season. I only did 8 episodes last year. Mm-hmm. You know, that's not even one a month. And I talked to a friend of mine who hosts another podcast. He's a writer. He's also he's just now getting into voice acting. And he does an audio drama podcast that I love. It's called Gather by the Ghost Light. And it's original short stories that he adapts as audio dramas. Some of them he's written, some of them he's gotten from other authors and things like that. And he'll bring a cast. He's here in town. And actually, he's my cousin. I didn't even realize that until I asked him to be a pallbearer at my mom's funeral, and well, actually, no, he wasn't a pallbearer. He wasn't at the funeral. His mom was at the funeral, and one of my pallbearers said, "Why is Cookie's mom here?" And I was like, "I don't know." And apparently, she was related. So I'm his cousin. Didn't realize.
Yeah,
Anyway,
at
Small
least
world.
you didn't find out like your wife's your cousin, because that happens.
no, thank God, thank God, thank God.
Too late now.
Yeah, but I was talking with Cookie, and I said, "Yeah, I think I'm just gonna wrap up and I think I'm just gonna be done with the podcast." And that was this year. And he said, "Give it one more season." He's like, "Just shoot for the moon. Ask for whatever those golden guests that you want to talk to. Go ahead, yeah." And Mitch, top of the list,
And Mitch,
and
yeah,
and it took forever to get him scheduled, but. So I had to get other people in before him. And he's like, just go for it. And if at the end of the year, at the end of the season, you're like, yeah, I still don't want to do this, then don't. Because, again, nobody's paying for it. I'm paying for it for myself.
yeah.
And as I started to do that and start reach out, and some of these people that were those kind of, golden people, actually at least responding, whether they're saying yes or no, but they're responding and saying, hey, I can't do this now, but I can maybe blah, blah, blah. And so I started feeling better about doing it. And now I'm into I think episode 10. I think I'm recording episode 10 tomorrow. And
Sneak peek. Who is it?
His name is Will McCraney. He is a musician here in town. And he started a passion project called Will's Dills. He makes pickles.
I was going to say it had to be pickles.
Yep, makes
Yeah.
pickles.
Was that like he made that because it rhymed with his name?
I think so. I think that's the only.
should
I'll
I do?
find out.
I know
I'll ask
pickles
him tomorrow and be
because-
like, "Hey, my friend Mike wanted to know if you only started this because it rhymed with Will."
I do. I want.
I only
I will
breed
listen to that
female
episode, and I
dogs.
want to hear that question.
I will not breed male dogs at all, by the way.
So it's it's been going well. I had last week I had Kelly Mashinsky on, who's casting director, CEO of the Voice Caster. We had
Fellow
a great
Michigander.
conversation. Yeah.
Found
She loves
out.
some Mackinac Island fudge ice cream. And
No, just the fudge.
well, she likes the ice cream better than just the fudge. She likes the
Wait.
Mackinac Island fudge ice cream. Yeah.
Oh.
Yep. And so, I mean, again, people that I've crossed paths with, and they have really interesting stories, and I feel good being a caretaker and a guide to help them tell their stories. Someone in a comment on Kelly's episode on Instagram said, you're a great enabler for storytelling. I was like, that is a very kind and great compliment to be able to say that, and that's a responsibility. I feel like I am helping whoever the guest is to tell their story. I'm just guiding there. I'm not trying to take over, obviously I'm talking more on this because I am the guest. Mitch even said, he's like, I feel like I talked a lot, and I'm like, that's the whole point, Mitch. We're the guest on the show.
People do that to us too.
That's what we tell people is if Mitch and I don't say much, that means you're doing a good job.
Yeah. Well, the rule of thumb is like 80-20, 80% guest, 20% host is what it's supposed to be. So,
Sounds about right.
I feel like I'm at 95% right now. But anyway.
All right, well then Mitch and I will finish the episode.
Like I've been wanting the whole time.
Like holy cow!
I will say this: we've been talking to you for about 53 minutes about mainly the podcast, which again, I mean, that's kind of it's a different twist. You are a voice actor, but you are also a prominent podcast host, and so it's kind of nice that we have spent most of the episode on that because it's just different for the listeners. But you do have a voiceover career. And so for the next, 92 seconds before we get into something different,
We can go longer.
give us a little update on how Robb Smith, the voice actor, is doing.
Robb Smith, the voice of Robb.com. That's Robb with 2 B's.
You got to tell us that story, too.
There will be a link.
Okay. All right. It's going well. It is like every other. Even though I've been doing voice stuff for over 30-something years, if you include, the television and radio and all of that. But I've only been full-time voice acting here in this studio since January 31st of 2024. I had got let go from Apple after being there almost 10 years, and I didn't know what I was going to do, because that was a pretty sweet gig, and I was making good money, and we had just bought a house. And my wife was like, why don't you go back and do what you love? Why don't you do voice stuff? Because that's the technical term, voice stuff.
Voice
stuff. And she says, make a true go of it. You've got time. And she's like, as long as the bills will be paid, and as long as, nobody's going to come take the house. And I had, 401k and stock and things like that, and savings and all. And so that's what I've been doing full time, trying to build relationships, trying to not be on the pay-to-plays as much as possible. They're a necessary evil when you're starting out, but trying to build relationships. And just this week, I got an email to do a new project for a national client that I had last year. Ooh. Like, I hadn't even done my touch base and remind them top of mind type stuff like you're supposed to do, because I suck at that part of the self-marketing part of this job. But they reached out and they're like, hey, because it was a production house. It was like, hey, the client wants to have you back for the campaign for this year too. Are you cool with that? I was like, yes, send.
Is there one button I can push for yes?
Right.
Yeah.
So that was great. That was great to be, to know that I'll be doing another national campaign. It's for Voodoo Ranger. It's a beer.
Yeah.
And it'll be a lot of fun, because it was a fun, goofy voice. I love character work. I love the goofy comedy type stuff. Again, that's what I started with as my, defense mechanism. Mm-hmm. So any chance I have to do that type of stuff, I love the opportunity to do it. And hopefully that'll be out, like, I think the end of this month, because we recorded it this week. So we'll see how that goes. And, yeah, there are down days. The day after I did that, I sat here all day trying to figure out what my next move was supposed to be. Looking at crap rate, P2P auditions that were coming through, or free auditions, doom scrolling about AI taking our jobs, and like, why am I doing this? What should I be doing? Because again, trying to hold myself accountable. Mm-hmm. I'm like, why am I trying to do this? Seeing bills that need to be paid, and there's money there, but also, like, I would like more money to replace the money that I'm having to pay the bills with. And those are real things. Those are real things, because the part of this that I did not expect was to be the business owner. That's the hard part for me. The talking into a microphone, because that's all it is. Yeah, that's the easy part, quote unquote easy part. I keep doing this stuff into the camera because
Quotes, yes.
Mine is
He's
audio only, so
Yes.
I keep forgetting you have video.
We do.
But
He threw quotes a lot. Just guess where those were.
Yeah. If you're listening, it's a game.
But yeah, it's being the business person, being the responsible business person is the hard part for me. So that's hard. Where then my, like, little demon on my shoulder starts whispering and like, all right, what do you think you're doing? But there's also other voices on the other shoulder, like, you got this, you've done this. You literally yesterday, somebody contacted you and said, we need more of you. Keep going, find more of those people. And so that's what I'm trying to do. So that's how the business of thevoiceofrobb.com is doing. Now, the double B. You ready for that story?
Please, I'm ready.
All right. So when it was in in the 1900s, in 1993, I was working at the local CBS affiliate here in Augusta, and I was an audio engineer. That's how I started a lot of my work in television, because I translated from radio, being an audio engineer. And I also got into doing helping with the station marketing and promotions and stuff like that. because that also translated from working in radio, coming up with prizes to give away and do, things on the air. And I would get tickets and things like that we needed for giveaways. And they would get mailed to the television station, to Robb Smith, ROB SMITH. Our weather guy at the television station's name was Bob Smith. BOB SMITH. Bob was in his 60s, late 60s or so, and he would take my mail and then usually hand it to me about 2 weeks after I actually needed it for the giveaways or whatever. And between that time, I've already called and cussed out the promoter because we never received the tickets that we need for this contest that we're doing through sales for their circus or whatever it was. And they said they had to send more tickets. And then Bobby was like, "Oh, hey, Rob, I think I got your mail. Looks like it's some tickets or something." I'm like, "Thanks, Bob." So
Old people suck.
I added an extra B to the end of my name. So it went from Rob, R-O-B, to R-O-B-B. And I never missed my mail ever again. Ever. Because he visually could see. That doesn't say Bob, even though the R should have told him. Yeah, even though the R should have told him. But yeah, so that's how Rob with two B's came to be, because of another B in Bob. So yeah.
For the listener, the most emotive your face has gotten, other than a smile and maybe a little emotional, was when you started talking about Bob. Was one of the most disgusted faces we may have had on the podcast.
Some bad memories, doesn't he?
Really, I love Smith. I loved it so much.
No, and he was a great guy. He was a great guy. But he was a great old guy.
Nice save.
He was a great guy. He was big into trains. You could go to his house and see his big train set.
I'm understanding a lot about Bob.
Yeah. So, we talked about that picture from the beginning, like the average, like, Facebook picture that is this angle. Yeah. Yeah, Bob definitely would have had a Facebook picture like that. But, yeah, so that's where Rob with two B's came from. So now I have people that call me Double B or Rob Bubba or whatever. Yep. And so that's it. But
all right. Hey, you know what? That is a perfect segue into some ChatGPT roulette. What do you think?
I agree.
You want to play, Ron?
And disagree.
I don't know what it is, but let's play.
Oh,
what?
We haven't talked about. Oh, you're gonna like this.
Yeah, oh God, you're gonna like this. You just wait here while we hit pause. How do we hit pause?
And now Rob knows what ChatGPT roulette is, and he's still here.
Wait, did that happen?
That's a credit to him.
Oh, we're recording. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Where have you been? Not pressing the button?
He did it. No, I don't press it ever.
Did you see what Mark Scott posted today?
Yeah.
Just to have a caveat. He posted something on Facebook where he's like, the face you make when you recorded 8 hours of
it was 43
or
minutes,
60 minutes of an audiobook and forgot to hit record.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, dang.
Painful.
Gosh,
you should write that into a ChatGPT script someday. Oh. But anyway.
Man, just made me sad. All right. We talked about used car salesmen, and once again, it's positive. This is Cybertruck confusion. A battered Cybertruck sits alone like a stainless steel refrigerator that escaped from prison. Vinny and Ricky stand beside it. Doug, me, circles the truck slowly, taking notes on a tiny notepad. What's the coefficient of regret?
Excuse me?
Coefficient of regret. How much buyer's remorse does the metal generate at highway speeds?
That's easy. 0.31.
0.31? That's drag coefficient.
Regret coefficient tracks drag coefficient. Everybody knows that.
Nobody knows that because you just invented it.
Interesting.
Don't write that down.
I already did.
Write down 0.31 confidence interval.
Stop helping him.
How many raccoons would fit in the frunk? That's a front trunk.
What size raccoon?
Emotionally stable.
6.
8.
No way.
You're underestimating raccoon compression.
You cannot compress a raccoon.
You absolutely can. Just squish him down.
We're talking voluntary?
Of course voluntary.
Well, then 4.
Excellent. What's the truck's top speed if pursued by medieval knights?
Well, see, now that depends.
Horse breed,
Thank you.
war horse, 112.
Wait. You don't gain speed because knights are chasing you.
Adrenaline.
The truck doesn't have adrenaline.
You don't know what is in that battery.
I do too. It's lithium, you idiot.
Yeah, allegedly.
That's a fair point.
No, it is not.
How resistant is that glass to thrown lasagna?
Frozen or fresh?
Now, why would anyone throw fresh lasagna at a Cybertruck?
Because they're angry but still respect food quality.
That's absurd.
You think frozen lasagna gets thrown by amateurs?
I like him.
Hey, don't encourage this, okay?
If I filled the bed with soup, would it improve traction?
Chicken noodle?
Tomato basil.
The answer is no.
The answer is maybe.
It's soup.
Yeah, weight is weight, though.
It's liquid.
Well, then freeze it.
Well, then now it's not soup. You've changed the properties of the thing.
Well, it's retired soup.
Retired Soup would be a great band name. Last question. Could this vehicle survive a direct attack from 300 extremely determined geese?
No.
No, absolutely not.
300?
You're done.
Yeah, that right there is organized.
It's a military-grade goose activity right there.
Well, what if they're poorly coordinated?
Ooh, now we're talking.
Give it an 80-40 chance.
70-30.
80-40.
70-30 if they're not using the V pattern.
Sold.
Seriously?
I trust people who admit when geese are a legitimate threat.
That is the smartest thing anybody said on this lot all year.
You know what, Ricky? For once, I agree with you.
Don't get used to it.
Blank check? Whole
Oh
different.
my gosh, about halfway through that I choked and I was doing my best not to cough.
He's changed. Wow. Hit us off with the regret right away. We love that.
Right away we got regret.
I regret.
You regret
I
doing
regret being a
ChatGPT
part of this.
roulette.
Yeah,
I
we're
regret doing ChatGPT roulette. Bye.
By the way, speaking of songs, and I'm sorry, this podcast is going to go on for another 20 minutes. I love the fact that you haven't written an end song for your podcast. And you tell everyone who's on the podcast, like, yeah, we'll get there. It's on writing
I
it.
figure honesty is the best policy.
6 years
right?
later.
You know?
I think we'll get there someday.
It's pretty fun.
Eventually. Just
Anyway,
haven't found the right collaborator yet. That's all.
that's right. Katie Jo Stock's your girl.
She's been on the podcast.
Yeah.
And she said she said she thought it was pretty good as it was. So, you know.
It is true. Everyone says that to be nice, but no, actually, it's pretty solid. To be honest.
That's what people tell us about our podcast. It's pretty okay how it is.
Pretty okay.
Pretty
You're
okay.
the okayest podcast
Mitch and Mike, we're the
I've
okayest
heard.
podcast that ever existed. Yeah.
It sounds like you've perfected messing up, and like you know what it's coming. You know, you have to sing it every time. So anyway, we don't have an end song for this.
We just have awkward goodbyes. That's it.
Yeah, which is what I'm doing right now. Rob, it was awesome. Truly.
Thank you.
Awesome, Rob.
And I can't wait to hang out with you again.
Yeah, thank you guys. This was a treat. It really was. It was great getting to spend a little bit more time with you, Mike, and Mitch. Always fun to hang out with you and chat. And I'm sure we'll be sharing some Leo Braun episodes coming up soon. This second season as it's coming out, and
Faux Rizzle.
yeah, and I do say before I go, before you finish everything, if you're listening to this podcast and you hear me saying these words, or if you're watching this podcast, whatever platform you're on, please go to whatever rating system it has. Give these guys a 5-star rating, or if you have the ability to write a review, write a review. Again, it means so much to help the podcast be heard by more people, and it does something for us as well, because it puts a little coal on the fire. It keeps us going. So I really believe in what you guys are doing. I think it's amazing. I love you both, and I hope more people find your podcast and they write those reviews and they give you those 5-star ratings, and you continue to do this because your journey is important, and you guys are important because you're the name of the journey. So there's that.
Thank you, Rob.
Because of that, yeah. We love you too.
Yeah, if it was called something else, it wouldn't matter as much. But since it's Mitch and Mike's voiceover journey, then that means something.
And what you guys don't know is Rob has already had conversations of how to better this podcast with us, and we may have turned the dial another notch, but he's here to help us turn more dials. So thank you, Rob, for that.
Yeah, of course. And I mean it, though. I mean that. I'm not just schlocking your podcast. I mean it. It's good stuff. And,
I hate it when people schlock our podcast.
At least I'm not schlocking your slanging or something like that, or
or
knocking your noggin,
or soldiering
or
your
letting the red soldiers
What was
go.
it? What was it?
What is it? Whatever Mitch misinterpreted. So
you guys will
Red
listen
Rockets.
back. You guys
Red
will
Rockets.
listen back and hear him say, "You got to show your little soldier to everybody," or something like
Not
that.
what I said.
And
It
my
was
mind
something
went
like
a
that. It
little,
was not that.
a little dirty on that.
That's
so.
what Mitch heard.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, if
what he
you've
wanted to
listened
hear.
this far into it and you're hearing this conversation,
Go back.
you've heard whatever Rob said. Just comment. Just feel free to comment,
Please.
in the comment, or email us.
Yeah.
Mitch and Mike.
Put
Mitch
it
and
as
Mike
part of your
voiceover journey.
review, your written review
Mitch and
of the
Mike VO
podcast.
journey at gmail.com. We definitely have to shorten that.
Off the rails.
Yeah, just let us know what he actually said. Make Mitch feel
Maybe you should
really bad.
transcribe this or something. That would be good.
Nope, we're not doing that. Anyway, goodbye.
Anyway. Now,
Now
it's
you're the
time for
one.
awkward goodbyes. Yeah, I know. I'm the one that pushes the stop button. I can't even find the stop.
That's what
She's
she's
going in the pod.
Whoa. Yep.
still going.